All right. Hey guys. Okay, so this video is basically um this video is basically gonna be about an observation and also a little story that I have really about it's not okay. Let me just give a quick disclaimer. This video is not going to be light skin versus dark skin. But I do have something to say about that. As you can see, I have no makeup on. So I'm displaying all my discoloration and my old little marks. So, okay. The first time I found out that I was dark skinned was around the time I moved to Atlanta from Florida. Growing up in Florida, you have black people. Well, growing up in Florida, when I was living in Florida, all I known was black and white. A little bit of Asian, a little bit of like Arabic, but no, like nothing else. But when I moved to Atlanta, it pretty much was beginning to be like a, what do you call it, like a whirlpool. I think that's what they call it. It was becoming to like pretty much I saw so many different types of people, and it was like, wow, like what is that? Like, oh, that's a Mexican, oh, that's a Dominican, oh, that's a Puerto Rican. My eyes were open and I was so young. I moved to Atlanta when I was 12 years old. So I grew up in Georgia. So I was open to a lot of different, different nationalities and races. So I was learning. So I remember when actually I have a bunch of encounters. I was when I first moved to when I was in middle school. I was in the 7th grade, and this guy. It's crazy because now I can laugh at it, but back then it wasn't really a laughing. It wasn't really a laughing moment. He was all like you need to move out my way, you dark skinned bitch. Excuse my language, but I was just like, I was confused because remember I'm 12, and I come from a state, well, I come from a small town of Florida, Pensacola, where I wasn't known to like, well, you know skin tone, but you don't really, it wasn't so it wasn't so big on light skin versus dark skin until when I moved to Georgia, and I was just like, wait, who is he talking to? And of course, like, well, I was in my shy stage, so I was just like, dark skinned bitch. Like, dark skinned. What's dark skinned? I'm like, is that me? So in that time, um, I was just like so confused to the point I was just like, what is dark skinned? Like, is dark skin is something bad? Like, huh? I'm so confused. So like I would say like during the 90s up until now, being a dark skinned woman has changed. But there are still some downfalls. Still a lot of downfalls. Like there's certain things that dark skinned women or brown skinned women, whatever you want to call us, they're whatever you want to call us. There's a lot of things that we just we can't get away with, but we still do it because we have a right to. There's a lot of things that we can't get away with that I've noticed that a lot of women of fair skin can get away with. And I'll probably like talk about that in another video because this video's long. But yeah, that was one of my encounters. And then like just being in like, different types of group settings with girls my age, talking about like, skin tone, talking about like, like we dark skinned girls have to stick together. And I'm like, I'm not dark skinned, I'm brown. I'm a brown skinned girl. What are you talking about? Dark skin? What's dark skin? Because like in my eyes, dark skin was closer to black. And I'm like, I'm in the middle. Like, I'm brown. So who you calling a dark skinned girl? Like, us dark skinned girls have to stick together. What are you talking about? It's horrible that like, during that time period, being called dark skin was kind of like a negative thing. Now it's a bit different, a little bit different, but back in the day, it was an insult. Like you'd be like, if you're called dark skin, it was like something evil, but light skin was like something like glorified and stuff. But it's crazy. It's crazy now that I think about those different things. Like all you dark skinned girls are this. All us dark skinned girls have to stick together. You dark skinned bitch. You nigga. This just all these different words, and I'm just like, wow. I'm just reflecting. But I will say this. I'm really proud of my skin. I'm really proud of I would call it war scars, even though one of these things we're gonna get them eliminated when I get that kish. I'm really proud of I'm really proud of my confidence. Look at me, I got red hair. I feel like us brown girls, no, us black women as a whole has come a long way. And we're still coming a long way. That's all I can say. I feel like there's much more to say, but that's all I got. Yeah.